Hi there, I am going to start a new kind of video here for you. And this is my very first one. It's going to be a little bit kind of design with me, sort of look at something that I've found online. So this is a post on the House forum from a couple who are looking to renovate a 1960s three-bed detached house, and they want some help with their extension. So there are many people who post online their floor plans and ask for some help. And I'm going to start to do this probably on a more or less weekly basis. I'm going to do a little video, explain, have a look through what they're looking to achieve, and then do a bit of sketching online to give you a bit of a taster of how I approach design and what you would get out of doing a house extension kind of a design, like a foundation package with me. So this post, they've said, "Hi everyone, my wife and I have just bought a 1960s three-bed detached house. The previous owners lived there since it was first built. We're looking to give it a full overhaul and also want to add a single-story extension to the rear. We're looking to go out to a maximum of 8 meters, so we don't need planning permission, but think it will be more between 4 to 6 meters. Now, you can't go out to 8 meters without planning permission, so that would need planning permission. They would need extended permitted development rights for that. So they don't understand the actual limitations of permitted development rights here. But I'm not going to get into that in this. So they're looking for ideas on how best to build the extension to make it practical and keep it light. They would appreciate thoughts, tips, or photographs of something similar. And then the photographs of the front and rear are below, along with the floor plan, which I've copied over here. So it's a really simple, like 1960s property. Nothing incredibly special about it. Some people might consider it a little bit ugly. Some people might love it. You know, that's fairly, objective kind of, or subjective to you. But this is what the house looks like. So here we have the floor plan. And so what I'm going to do is do some sketching around this. I'm just going to make the canvas a little bit bigger. Say, just to give us a bit more space to sketch with. Just gonna make that white. So we've got a little bit more room, and then I'm going to show you some ideas about what they could do. So they're talking about making it bigger and more practical. So first of all, what they've asked for is really not very specific. And so when I work with clients, I want to know much more information about how they wish to live, what they want their life to look like, and all of these different things. But we're going to have just a really quick look at some of the things that they could do to make this floor plan better, because there's lots of things they could do. So we're just going to have to base this on assumptions. So they don't mention children. I'm assuming that it's just going to be them living there on their own, in which case this lounge seems like a really long lounge to me, and it's not really that comfortable in terms of where you could sit. You could only really put maybe a sofa here, perhaps at the most something like, a couple of armchairs and a 3-seater sofa, which is not really that great. And then in the living room, it looks pretty small, like, it'd be a bit of a squeeze to put people in there. And then in this kitchen, so you could have kitchen here, sort of there, and that's your limitation in terms of where your kitchen could go. and it says kitchen breakfast room, so I assume at some point there is like a little table and chairs or something in here as well, so that even limits the kitchen even further. So it's not really a great floor plan in many ways. I'm assuming that this store is actually underneath the stairs, because if we look over here, this lines through with that more or less, and this is where the stairs are. So I'm assuming that the stairs come up here. It could be that they've got a step that comes up here. I don't know whether this is flat here. That's hard to say. I assume that this space, that there is like a higher up space underneath that cupboard, and that's why there's a built-in cupboard there, because there's not really much head height. There's not enough head height there above that. So they don't mention doing anything to upstairs or wanting to do anything to upstairs. They're just talking about extending this ground floor. So there's no explanation for how many people they're looking to fit in here. These sort of floor plans, which are estate agents' floor plans, are really fine for doing this kind of overall big picture kind of view, but there may be, so for example here there could be a chimney breast, and it would obviously take up space in the room, and we don't know if that's true or not. So often, there's just not really that much detail in these kinds of floor plans to give you enough information to do a really good quality sketch design, but there can be enough information to give a kind of a bigger picture concept design. It can be enough for that. So we've looked at sort of what we're kind of looking at. So if we start from scratch here, what I'm going to say is, well, if we're assuming that this is a couple and they live together, maybe they have children that visit and they have some friends and family that visit, but perhaps, a smaller lounge where they could fit a bigger corner sofa in there, and that gives them something that's much more comfortable for a couple and a couple of visitors to sit and be more cozy. And if they have television, they want to have the television over here is better, so that it's not going to be affected by glare from the daylight. I don't know exactly which way is north, south, east, west. We don't know that, but I'm assuming that there will be some point there's going to be sunshine coming in here, and so having a screen that is faced away from that gives them a better view from this kind of sofa. And then perhaps move the door over here so that they can do that. They can have this nice cozy snug over here instead. And that means that then this space here at the back becomes bigger. And if it's, if we made it that more or less in line here with this wall, then they could take all of this stuff out and have a door here instead. So I'll just show you what that would look like if we cleared all of that out of the way, like that, and just pop it on like that. And let's move that down here. So something like that means that they said they wanted more of an open plan kitchen diner. Well, this already, without having to extend at all, they already have this much bigger space here. Now, this arrangement is not really all that great. Like I say, it's hard to know about the stair situation, if this is a bit lower. If this is not a lower level, then they could, the different things they could do here could possibly, what's the best thing to do? They could take this wall out here and open that up here, push that further back. I'll show that as an example. So say for example, if we were to close that off and then make this into a room. So this is one room, and we put a wall in there. So if we put this wall in here and then made this into the loo a bit further back. So you've got a loo in here. And then we could close this bit off here a little bit more, and actually put the door a little bit further over. Means that you could have a full run in here. And they could maybe have like a kind of breakfast bar over here, like that. Maybe just some slimmer shelves or something on this wall if they wanted to, and have like a breakfast bar here. So this kind of arrangement makes this all a bit bigger, and they don't mention whether they want to continue to use the garage or not, if that's important to them or not, but they could shave a little bit off the back of the garage if they wanted to, and kind of make a little bit of a utility room in here, you know, a bit of a space either side here that could, I'll clear this as well. And then they could have, you know, a door that goes through the middle more. Oops. So they could have this kind of door that goes through to the garage with this more like a utility boot room type space in here. The loo off that. Obviously they could store stuff that they would store in here, and they could also create some kind of sliding out type of units that come out from the stairs that could replace some of the storage that they had stored in there. They could recreate some of that underneath the stairs, so they're not completely losing their storage. Also they could build a bigger porch and maybe put in some storage in here for coats and what have you. So they've got even more storage, however you want to do it, maybe better. I always think it's better to have each door going in the same way. So if you're coming into the house, you want to be able to open all the doors one after the other with the same hand. So if you're carrying stuff coming in, you don't have to unlock this door, get into here, and then switch hands so that you can open the door the other way, because that's super annoying. So either way, I would make these two doors the same, and then equally then this one the same, so that if you're bringing supermarket shop all the way in, you've got all the doors are all the same way, and then you could come and dump all your shopping bags on here to then get put away. So this arrangement would make it much more, you know, you could have a huge sort of storage unit along here if you wanted to, perhaps with all your like special crockery, if you've got like a Christmas set or, you know, anything special like that. And you could have quite a big dining space in here as well, and, you know, potentially extendable table so you can see even more people. Now, I don't know exactly what scale this is, but generally I generally sketch more or less to scale just from force of habit, you know, from experience. I've been doing this kind of sketching things for a really long time, so generally my sketching is roughly to scale. So it's not absolutely accurate, and we don't have, like, because it's estate agents drawings, we don't have an absolutely accurate plan, But this is one thing that one option, one way that they could treat this space, get a bigger breakfast room, get a kind of utility boot room with a loo in there, still have plenty of storage, have a cozier, more functional lounge because of the locations of the door. You just one door in, not having it open at the back, and a much bigger kind of open plan space at the back. Now, it's hard to know exactly what they want to achieve, but they're talking about extending out to the back. So, I mean, there's lots of things you could do to extend out the back. And, you know, if you're talking, I'm assuming that this is like 2.5 meters deep. So sort of 3 meters would be something like that on the scale of this, which would, you know, if you were to create that as a, I'm just going to, actually, I'll keep that on, put another one on here. And if we were going to make this a big open plan space like that, then you could do that. You know, you've got like this huge area. Now, having a huge area like that, first of all, this is a big structural opening. So that's a huge amount of steel, like, and potentially quite a deep steel as well. So, you know, you can do that. It does start to get dark towards the back here, but you know, in this area, you might maintain this. If you're going to do that, I will turn that off actually. No, what am I going to do here? Add a bit more. It's just fun, just playing with this, like different ways you could do it. If I just actually I'm going to block out this as well that we drew on here. So it's completely open. And then what you could do is, so you could keep this, you could keep that as a store as before. You could make it, make a larger, the garage originally stops there, so you can maintain the garage as it was before. You know, I'm just going to turn that off. I'm going to put this on a new layer. I'm going to copy this up onto this layer so that I can just turn that layer off, and then it's less annoying. So that's like a little bit more what you've got. I'll just delete this. So if this is what you open plan that you created, it's completely open plan now. This is a huge area and it's really not very well defined. It's not really like that great space. Obviously there is a wall here that I've kind of deleted. And the original door, if you see the original, door was there. So if instead of we kept that original door and kept this wall here, kept this original door as well, then we could keep all of this as it is. And then if I cover that up, it just means that they have this bigger lounge, but like I say, it's not as practical as being able to have, well, a lot of people really like to have these big corner sofas. So if you wanted to have like a big corner sofa in there, then you're still better off with your door further down, or even at the very bottom. But if you set it here, you've got a bit more space in front of it, that can be better. And then you've got more sofa space, and it's a little bit further maybe from, I'm assuming that there's some kind of fireplace here, so you can't put a television, but you could maybe put a television here. It depends as well, you know. This is something that I don't know about this couple. I don't know how important watching television is to them. Some people it's really important, for some people it's not important at all. Some people like to watch television every evening, and that's what they do to relax after work. Some people just watch television for actually just want to watch a movie on a Friday night. They have kind of a Friday night date night, glass of wine. You know, how you use television, and then therefore how you design that into your space, it's specific to you, and that's something that you need to, you know, be very clear about, so that you can know how much dominance, how much importance to put it in your space, which space is going to need television. Some people want to have television in every room. Some people just want to have television in one specific room. And so all of this kind of information is information that I get from my clients before I start to design. So I wouldn't be sitting there going, oh, I don't know whether they want to have, you know, how important this television is, and how they want to use this room, and you know what that's going to be for them. I know that before I start to design, and I think that's really important to get very clear on how it is you want to use the space. And so, for example, we've got this huge space, but I don't know, first of all, I don't know how many people are going to live in this house. I don't know how many people take part in cooking, if they cook individually, if they cook together as a family, if they cook, take it in turns to cook, if one of them likes to cook all on their own, and the other one likes to go off and do their own thing during that time, if they like to spend time together while they're cooking, but one of them does most of the cooking work while the other one kind of sits there and keeps them company. I do not know how they want to use this. And then there's a lot of different things to take into account when you're designing kitchens and dining rooms, because how do you want to know, like, how do you want to eat generally? Like, some people, they don't really want to eat at a dining table at all. They want to go and sit on the sofa and watch television while they're eating. Some people want to sit down and have a sort of a family dinner where they sit all together around the table, have a chat. Some people want to you know, are busy people, they have quick meals, and the meals are not the most important part of the day, and they want to just sit at kind of a breakfast table and have a meal there. So the way that I would design this space is very different depending on all of those things, and that's only when you're looking at just the day-to-day use. Then you also have to take into account entertaining. If you do any sort of entertaining, what kind of entertaining do you do? Do you have huge groups of people around for like special meals, where you all sit down? Do you do more of a buffet, like more informal type of catering? So many different ways that you could approach it. So it's not as straightforward as it might seem. But anyway, so some different things you could do. You might say take a bit of space out here, and you could either create like an entrance in here and make this a kind of utility room, maybe even something like that. So you've got this kind of utility room where you can come in and go out straight off. You could make that part of the porch as well, the hall, so you could extend that hall and carry it on that way if you wanted to, because they're worried about making sure there's enough light into the center. And this area here is the part that is going to be relatively dark, because if you're going to have a big structural thing in here, that's what's going to start to block the light although you can put roof lights, you know, as much as you like in here, and that will throw light back deeper into the room. And so you can do that. I'll delete all that scribble. So those are the sort of options. If you were to actually just make this this whole original kitchen space into a kind of a utility room, and then have this kind of more of a like an L-shaped space for your dining kitchen, that would work quite well. So if you were, say, perhaps wanting to use this front room for your glass of wine with a movie night, date night, sort of, you know, adult type of space that you want to keep clean, then you could do that with this maybe, and then you maybe would have a kind of a family room space in here. You could maybe have another television sort of space where you could kind of relax more, and then maybe you would have dining space, and you could have a big kitchen in here. That's one option. If you made it bigger, then you could start to have an island unit in here. So you could have a really big sort of utility space with a loo, and that kind of, this is very functional kind of family use type of space. But it really comes down to how you want to live your life. And so unfortunately, with the description that was given on the forum, you know, my wife and I have just bought it. We're looking at ideas on how to build the best extension, or how to best build an extension to make it practical and keep it light. Those are great kind of aspirations to have. Make something practical and keep it light. But what does that mean? Because practical to one person is not practical for another person. It really does come down to, how do you want to live your life? What does your lifestyle look like? And how do you want to live? Who is going to live with you? How are you going to spend your time in that space? And that basis, that's how you then start to know how to design the space for you. It's not possible to design without understanding that much more deeper levels of information. I hope this has been interesting. This is like a new process, a new way of video that I'm planning to keep creating. If you found this interesting, useful, and you'd like to see me do more of this kind of thing, please comment below and let me know. If you have your own question, you want me to do something like this for yours, then give me a link to where you have posted on House or on Facebook group. Then I can take a look at your floor plan, and I can take a look at what you've said, and come up with some sort of similar sketch ideas. This kind of sketch ideas are completely based on assumption, completely based on very generic, like, kind of lifestyle, without having your specific vision, without me knowing what your real vision is for your life and your home, your lifestyle and your future, how you want to go ahead into the future. It's not really possible to design really bespoke, specific to you in a way that's really going to deliver you a practical design that you really love. But these are some sort of ideas about what you maybe could do in a very generic way. I hope that was interesting, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.